Welcome back to the SEC Baseball Nerds Podcast. I'm Patrick Brown.
And I'm Daniel Hounds. This is where I talk all things SEC baseball.
South Carolina, an amazing game last night against Kentucky, but we finally come out on the winning side of things, winning 6-5. Just feels really good for Carolina, and we get our revenge against LSU today. How do you feel about this overall game?
Kentucky win was great. We had some unsaw heroes show up in Gavin Casas. I'm sorry, Gavin Casas. He sadly broke a bone, and he'll be out for the rest of the season. And then Will Tippett, not usually the greatest hitter on our team, so that just to say it, but Will Tippett hit a home run to tie it up 4-4. How do you think about Will Tippett and Gavin Casas?
As you said, unsung heroes. I mean, Casas has kind of been waiting to click. I told you on yesterday's podcast, I feel like Casas would have a good day. He made a great defensive catch there in the third inning, just laid out for a ball. Then he hit a home run. And then Will Tippett just bringing the great defense. He did have a couple errors, but I mean, if Will Tippett can get his offense there, Will Tippett can be one of the better contributors on the Gamecocks team. So I think these guys are finally figuring out late in the season. There's like 3 to 4 of these guys that had a good year last year that were waiting. They were waiting to click. And now is where they're starting to click. As I'm telling you, with Cole Messina, Blake Jackson, Hoover's a great place to find your rhythm. And that's what the Gamecocks are doing right now.
I completely agree. I mean, I don't think we can bump up all the way to a 1 seed. I think it's a little too late at this point. But we can definitely lock in. I think we just locked ourselves in on a 2 seed, and that feels really good. So that's really good. I just want to talk a little bit about Cole Messina. He went 0 for 1 yesterday. Very strange. Probably that means like a lot of walks and stuff like that. What do you think from his game yesterday? Was it good? Was it bad?
It was pretty good. He got walked 3 times intentionally. I mean, that's great. I mean, you like that, and you don't like it at the same time. It gets really hard, but he did strike out 1 time. I think it's just Cole Messina's like, you know what, you're gonna walk me fine. Our lineup's loaded 1 through 9. We'll let our other guys hit, and I think he sees Kennedy Jones behind him, Parker Nolan, Dalton Reese. He's like, okay, these guys are gonna drive me in, and I feel confident. So nothing against Cole. It's just what he's done all tournament. When they see something like that, they're going to intentionally walk you like we do Condon or Caglione.
Now, do you think with him getting so little at bats yesterday, do you think he might slow his production down from the hot hitter he has been whole tournament since he just didn't have enough at bats yesterday?
Yeah, I think that could definitely happen. I mean, let's be honest. He's not going to keep this pace up the rest of the tournament. It's truly remarkable, but I'm not going to say he's going to go 0 for 4, strike out 4 times. He's probably going to go 1 for 4, 2 for 4, a possibility, maybe with no home runs. But whatever Cole is doing to his team, either behind the plate or being a leader, he's contributing to his team no matter what. So whatever Cole does is really helpful for this ball club.
Yes. Against LSU, I remember we talked about it yesterday. I remember we talked about if we won, who would be the pitcher. I really don't want to hold back and just use Eli Jones because I don't see any reason of saving a pitcher for the possible final. I think the goal should be to get to the final at this point. Because, I mean, let's be real. This has been a magical run by us in Hoover. We never do this in Hoover. We're usually a bad team in Hoover. And this season, it's just been magical. So I just want to get to that final. So I just want to use Garrett Gainey. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And, I mean, you've got almost all your star relievers available. Chris Veach isn't. Matthew Becker may or may not. But, I mean, yesterday you used Tyler Dean, Parker Marlatt, who we'll get to later, and Matthew Becker, who didn't even use that many pitches. So, I mean, your bullpen's in really good shape right now. So, Garrett gives you a 5-inning outing, maybe gives up 1 run or something. You got Ty Good. You got possibly Eli Jones. You got all these guys that can fill in, and we're at a really good bullpen scenario right now.
Okay. Who do you think with LSU getting an extra day of rest, they might be a little more prepared than us for this game?
Yeah, definitely. This is why we really wanted to get that rest. I mean, they'll probably be starting Gage Jump, I would assume, or their Saturday pitcher normally, but I mean,
Mm.
these guys went 7 innings, 1 run to last SEC tournament outing. So I mean, really big game today. I think it's
Hold
gonna
on.
feel like it's gonna be a pitcher's duel today, and I think offensive runs are gonna be very hard to come by. So our pitchers are gonna have to play well, and our hitters are gonna have to play well to win this game because we know what LSU's made up, and they're not backing down today.
Yeah, I think you're a little bit right about the pitcher's duel. I think it's kind of going to be the opposite of what the last game was. Obviously, the last game, ESPN called it a hit parade. I certainly agree with that. There was 25 total hits, 13 by LSU, 12 by us. Last game that we played against them, we just there's so many runs were scored. I think 21 total runs. That's a lot. So it was just like so much offense, and I think that was because it was like mid SEC tournament. So like we were using kind of our bad pitchers, honestly, and so were they. So there was like more runs. But now since they just got an extra rest day, and now that we have Garrett Gainey and Eli Jones available, we can use our better pitchers.
Yeah, for sure. When you have your better pitchers, you pitch better. Yesterday and the day before, it was like, ooh, you're pitching some not very great pitchers. I mean, SQ played terrible yesterday, but that's not really SQ's fault. We had about 4 errors yesterday. We talked about it. Defense is sloppy, but they can make some incredible plays to save games. It's just one of the more frustrating things ever because you have great plays and then you have sloppy plays. But Gamecocks just need to limit the sloppy plays. I mean, first 3 innings we had about 3 errors that gave up runs.
Yep.
But I mean, we just got to fix the defensive miscues because there's some great plays hidden in that.
The defense has, I mean, you're basically right on that because in Hoover, almost everything has been going our way except for pitching, like a little bit, but hitting, what we scored almost 10 runs in every single game. It's just been so much hitting, but the defense has been the biggest issue that we've had, and basically the only issue that we had. Like, pitching the first 2 games was pretty solid, allowing 5 runs each game, and then third game was obviously a little bit of a downfall with the pitching, but yesterday it was good again, 6-5. The defense Mark Kingston needs to figure something out with that defense. It's almost like every time he brings in what is, like, putting air quotes on here, the superior defense, like the better one, we just end up doing worse. Like, he brings in that weird formation where we start changing up the defense, and then the defense gets worse.
Yeah, it's really frustrating because you expect defensive plays and then it doesn't happen. I think it's sometimes these guys are used to playing at their secondary positions and then moving them over kind of like it's a little different feel in the ball game. But I think Mark Kingston kept it the way it was yesterday, and that helped us down at the end of the game to make some amazing plays. I know you had discussed this at the beginning. Gavin Casas made great catch to save a run possibly, but he will be out for the rest of the season with a broken bone in his hand. Big loss for the Gamecocks. We'll tip it. Hopefully, we'll step up at short and Talmadge Corey third. How do you feel about losing what has been one of our better hitters as of late?
I'm devastated that we're losing Gavin Casas for the rest of the season. Very bad time to lose him. Obviously, we're in the midst of a good SEC tournament run and about to go to regionals. To step up, honestly, I want Will Tippett. This sounds stupid, but like Will Tippett, I know he only hits like $175, but like Will Tippett, he gets on base sometimes, and when he does hit the ball, I think he has 4 or 5 home runs on the season, something like that.
6. He has 6.
6 home runs, yeah. See,
Yeah.
He has some power to him. So when he does hit that ball, it's not like it's bad. So I kind of want Will Tippett. I want to talk a little bit about some other scores around. I want to talk about ACC a little bit. Clemson was down 6-0, came back. Is that more about Clemson's resiliency and being good, or more about the ACC being complete and utter garbage?
I think it's about Clemson's resiliency. I mean, the ACC is a secondary baseball conference. I mean, you got Duke, you got North Carolina, you got a couple good teams in there, but Clemson being down 6-0 to Louisville, coming back really shows their resiliency. We know their offense had finally clicked. They walked it off on a walk, but I think this Clemson team is just resilient. We know we played them. They
Yep.
came back and beat us. So I mean, that's what they do. And any team in this conference in the ACC, any team can do that, and that's something Carolina has to watch out for.
Yep. The Clemson fans certainly would be proud, and I bet Lamar Jackson certainly wouldn't. How about Tennessee winning? How do you feel about that?
That was an amazing game. Score 6-5 at Tennessee. It was a little chippy,
Same
back and
score.
forth. It was a great pitching duel, and then Tennessee walked it off in the eighth. Yeah, not eighth, but not walked it off, but they hit a homer in the eighth. Christian Morgan. I mean, just amazing what Tennessee's done this year. And Mississippi State now eliminated. I still assume they'll host. I don't think they'll be a top national seed, but great game. Tennessee will now face Vanderbilt in a fun rematch. I think the Vols will beat Vandy to move on to the final. I just don't think after what happened um, Wednesday, I don't think that'll happen again. But amazing game there from both Tennessee and Mississippi State.
Yeah, I believe yesterday I said Mississippi State would win 5-4, and you said they would win 2-1. So I guess
Yes.
both of our predictions were wrong, but 5-4, kind of closer. But Tennessee really showed that they were the number one team in the country. I get they struggled a little bit, and obviously Mississippi State, they're a very good baseball team, better than us. Obviously, with Tennessee, they're the 5 seed. Tennessee just showed that they can win those close games. I really like it every single time Tennessee and Vanderbilt face in almost every sport because it feels like the battle of Tennessee, you know. And in most sports, Tennessee owns Vanderbilt, but in baseball, it's almost like a 50-50 matchup because Vanderbilt, they're not as good as they usually are, but they're usually one of the top teams in the country. And these days, it seems like Tennessee's almost top 5 in like every sport. So yeah, what do you feel
Yeah,
about that battle?
I'm really excited. We got the SEC's got great semifinals. I mean, you got 3 teams you would expect to possibly lose first round, and they're in the final. You only have one top 5 seed left, and that's Tennessee. So, I mean, I expect good battles today. I expect good games. I want. I was joking with Parker Marlett listening on the radio last night. I was like, Parker, if you keep this up, I'm gonna have to discuss you on the podcast tomorrow. But he did. Parker Marlett providing amazing depth and consistency. He went 3.2 innings, 2 hits, 1 run. He did give up that run in this eighth, I believe. Struck out 6. I mean, Parker Marlett just that might be another bullpen guy. We talked about him. He struggled last outing against Tennessee, but I mean, that was amazing.
I completely agree. Parker Marlett was very, very good. With Tennessee and Vanderbilt and us versus LSU, with Tennessee and Vanderbilt and South Carolina versus LSU, I think the scores. I think Tennessee is probably going to win pretty handily. I'm going to go 7-3, and then us versus LSU. I remember on our first episode, I said that we couldn't get past the semifinals, and I said it sounds pretty sad, pathetic, but that's the reality. Now that we're actually in the semifinals, I'm starting to feel a little bit different. So I'm actually going to go with us 3-2. What do you think on that?
I like that course of pace. We talked about LSU South Carolina being a pitching duel. I like 4-2 Carolina today, and I like 8-3 Tennessee. Close to your numbers, but I mean these games should both be really good games. I'm expecting Carolina LSU to be more of a better game than Tennessee Vanderbilt will be. But I'm really excited for both these games today. I know I'll be at your house, hopefully watching it, so we get our reaction together. Very excited just to see Gamecock baseball grow in the leadership and just everything. I think the whole fan base is excited. And with this team, we're finally clicking. We've wanted the lineups, the pitching stuff. It's just been a really frustrating year, but now you figured it out. And if they can bring a championship home to Columbia, it'll feel really good for the fan base, even if we don't even go that far. In the regionals, obviously Omaha is the goal every year, but winning an SEC championship would be really, really nice for this fan base and this club.
I completely agree. With us beating Kentucky yet again, we are now 3-1 against Kentucky in the season. Is it starting to feel like we're like we own them a little bit? Like we're just better than Kentucky at this point? Like every time they start facing a pretty good team, it seems like Kentucky struggles. What do you think about that?
I'm not fully sure about them facing fully team making them struggle. I mean, they only lost 2 series in this season to us and to Tennessee. I think we just match up really well against them. I don't know what it is, if it's pitching wise, if it's hitting wise, but we match up really well, and they just struggle with us. I mean, when we play them, they look like an average 500 team in the SEC that has a good, hard fought game with us. But I mean, against other teams, they just play different. So I don't know. I think it's just the way we match up against them. But I'm very lucky that we got this draw in the semifinals and that we've been so good against the number 2 team in the country.
Um, I guess I agree too. For Michael Braswell, I think we'll be I think we'll probably be able to stop him right today. I think I want to stop Michael Braswell from hitting so bad. And do you think we'll be able to stop him today instead of allowing to hit like a game-winning hit yet again?
I wouldn't say we fully stop him, but I say we stop him from getting those game winning hits. It's okay if in the third inning he gets a base hit, if in the fourth inning he gets a base hit, and then they run into a double play or something like that. That is okay. But we don't want to make Tommy White, Jared Jones, all those guys have an opportunity at the end of the game, like they did in the eighth inning, the ninth inning, to possibly win this game. We don't want that happening.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't want to blow another lead. It was getting quite annoying last time. Before we go, is there any subjects that you would like to touch over a little bit?
Not really, just really hoping we can come back again on Sunday and talk about this. I mean, we got a special guest on Sunday. I would love to talk about the SEC championship with him. That would be very fun.
That would be
Thank
very
y'all.
fun.
Thank y'all for listening. Please like, share, subscribe. 5 stars, everything. Just thanks for this podcast. The Gamecocks hopefully win today. They play LSU at 1 o'clock. I'm Patrick Brown.
And I'm Daniel Elms, and thank you for listening to episode 5.